The surveillance state just got caught red-handed. Operation Arctic Frost, the FBI's secret spying program that targeted 8 Republican senators. We're talking Lindsey Graham, Josh Hawley, Ron Johnson, and others who dared challenge the regime. The bombshell? Not just the spying, but the cover-up. Kash Patel exposed how they buried the documents, making them nearly impossible to find. Kyle Serafin's calling out FBI brass by name, demanding answers about who supervised and who got paid to hide the truth. Senator Johnson calling it an outrageous violation of separation of powers. It's been labeled a constitutional disaster. The same FBI that spied on Trump spied on sitting senators, and then they tried to bury it. We've got the evidence. It is mounting. So keep on watching. While the FBI was hiding Arctic Frost documents from oversight, they can't hide the truth about aging. A meta-analysis of 23 controlled trials proved collagen supplements deliver real results, improve skin hydration, elasticity, and reduce wrinkles. Unlike classified files buried in FBI vaults, ageless multi-collagen is transparent. 5 types of premium collagen working to restore your skin, joints, and connective tissues. Since taking it daily, I've seen smoother skin, fewer fine lines, and renewed vitality. No cover-ups here. Get ageless multi-collagen for 51% off at healthwithgary.com. Includes free VIP coaching, an ebook, free shipping. Visit healthwithgary.com now. It's linked down in the description. So, it is a big scandal indeed, Mark Levin. Everyone is weighing in on this scandal. Where do we begin? How about we just check in with the FBI director himself?
Calling on elected United States senators and representatives. And they knew who they were calling, where they were calling from, where the person was receiving the call, who was receiving the call. You have fired the agents that were involved in that operation. What can you tell us about it?
Sean, I want to peel this onion carefully. Look, they put this information, those that weaponized the FBI and prior leadership at DOJ and FBI, they took this information where they subpoenaed 8 sitting United States senators, put it in a lockbox, put that lockbox in a vault, and then put that vault in a cyber place where no one can see or search these files. They're called restricted access and prohibited access. Restricted access means some people get to see it. Prohibited access, you put it in there when you want to hide it from the world, and that takes the authorization of the Attorney General and the Director of the FBI. So not only did they weaponize this law enforcement, but when we got in there, and when I got in as the FBI Director, from my experience as Russiagate, I knew where to look and what rooms to open and what doors to kick down. And that's what we did. We found this information to expose the politicization by Jack Smith and the prior Department of Justice. I mean, just think about it. 8 sitting United States senators. Phone records were gathered and subpoenaed through the grand jury process, and it was buried and wormholed with the hope that no one would find it. So we're just scratching the surface here, but accountability is coming. You're darn right I fired those agents. You're darn right I blew up CR-15, the public corruption squad that led the weaponization at the Washington field office. We're just warming up, but we are running our investigations to the ground. We are finding every single person involved. We will not leave a single room locked. We will go in through all the prohibited access requirements, and we will find the material and show the American public, like we have done in this FBI, more transformative and transparent than any in the U.S. history, to bring accountability to the American people. And we will work with our partners in Congress, who should be furious at the prior administration's leadership and weaponization and singular politicization of law enforcement. The American public sees what we're doing, Sean, with the stats you just read off in the beginning. They see what we're doing here to unseal the vault and show the world how the deep state actually operated. It's not a Republican fiction. This is what Donald Trump was put in place to do, and I'm honored to be his FBI director to lead this charge. And the men and women at the FBI, we're all in on this mission.
You know what? As he's sitting here talking, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we got Arctic Frost. This is going to lead to more deep state actors getting drained. He fired some of the FBI agents who were behind it. I think they need to go further. But find out who ordered it. What was the impetus of it all? And then we have Comey, who just was not perp walk today, but at least he's facing justice, pleading not guilty to lying to Congress. And we also have the grand conspiracy case that is working in the background. You have the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, revealing the beginning in the uncovering all the information from the beginning of Russiagate, going back to Hillary Clinton. Kash Patel working on that too. I mean, there's so many cases happening in the background right now. It's like we're getting drip fed all this information. And then another one hits. It's like, okay, write that one down, guys. Track this one. Okay, track Arctic Frost investigation. Track the Grand Conspiracy investigation. Track the Comey indictment. Like, let's just keep track of these things and let's get justice. And remember, guys, justice does move slowly. There are processes that these guys are actually following despite the previous administration, what they did. They just steamrolled everything. Okay, so this is just the beginning. Arctic Frost. Here is, this was 10 hours ago. Kyle Seraphin says, hey, Ron Johnson, you seem to be worried about the FBI agents involved in Arctic Frost. Have you talked to the FBI WFO ASAC, who is over CR-15, and Tim Thibault left in August? He writes, pretty sure David Geist, who was the ASAC in D.C., September 2023, still enjoying a check. Let's see what Ron Johnson has to say.
Crimes just... what should happen to Jack Smith? What should happen to the people that were involved with this? I know that Kash Patel has fired members of the FBI, according to reporting today, but what else do you believe should happen?
Well, it starts with exposure. But as we're seeing with James Comey, a lot of the statute of limitations has expired on this. What they're being indicted for is, lying to Congress. That's serious. That's a felony. But again, the punishment of those crimes just simply don't fit the magnitude of the destruction to our political system, the interference, the partisanship. I mean, again, Russia and China could only dream of doing this much damage. How do you make them accountable for that? I mean, again, it starts with exposure as this first step in accountability. But again, I don't know what laws are broken by this. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. I hope that some conspiracy charges can be leveled, can be proven, and these people go away for a very long time. These are bad people. They've done bad things to this country.
And Senator, I would say this. I think the American people, the honest ones anyway, would like you, Chuck Grassley, Josh Hawley, and the rest to keep asking the questions, keep issuing the subpoenas, dig deeper, find it all, and expose it for what it is. Because the only way we get rid of this nonsense, to get rid of this true weaponization, is to expose it, like you said.
But we will, Steve. Here's the problem, though. You still have members of Jack Smith's team in the FBI. These are long-term employees. They're burrowed in. They're not coming clean. They're going to do everything they can to hide their own wrongdoing, as well as the people that they worked with on this. So again, this is a huge challenge for Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino. But no, we're going to be dogged about this. I have every confidence they're going to do everything they can, but they don't know where the documents are buried. Again, it's hard to prove criminal activity and wrongdoing. People who commit crimes.
But to be crystal clear, Senator, to be crystal clear, you think they're criminals. You don't know what the crimes are, but you're pretty clear on the idea that these are criminals, correct?
Yeah, just based on the damage they've done to this country. Ugh. I mean, just look at that. The damage they have done with their lies, with their corruption. Again, it's incalculable.
Incalculable. Mark Levin calls it a big damn scandal.
Senators, who knew about this?
Yeah.
You don't monitor phone calls by United States senators without some kind of approval by the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General, some kind of knowledge by White House counsel. This is a much, much bigger scandal, and it is a big damn scandal, than what we're looking at right now. Again, my experience at the Department of Justice as Chief of Staff to an Attorney General, no prosecutor is going to start monitoring United States senators without the Attorney General knowing about it, without somebody in a higher position knowing about it, without the FBI director knowing about it. So this is another one of those scandals in the Biden regime that I think either goes to the top or close to the top.
That's exactly what I said. Who authorized it? Here's Kristi Noem at that committee hearing this week.
Operation Arctic Frost was an unconstitutional, undemocratic abuse of power. During Arctic Frost, the FBI also placed 92 linked Republican individuals and Republican groups, such as Charlie Kirk's Turning Point, on their list. This is the kind of conduct that shattered the American.
I think I called her Christy Nome. Pam Bondi. Forgive me.
American people's faith in our government, as I said in my opening statement. We are ending this weaponization. Our FBI is targeting violent criminals, child predators, and other lawbreakers, not sitting senators who happen to be from the wrong political party. Several of your colleagues sitting at this dais were targeted, and others. We will continue to stop that throughout the Justice Department. That is the ultimate weaponization of government.
Have you sought grand jury secrecy waivers so that all of Arctic Falls documents can be produced to Congress? And if not, do you plan to do that?
Chairman Grassley, I will be working directly with the Director Patel on this issue, and there's not much more we can say about the issue for obvious reasons at this time.
Okay.
Operation Arctic Frost was an unconstitutional...
Another scandal. We touched on this the other day. Now it's starting to explode. Here is Grassley 48 hours ago.
I think emphasizes the political weaponization that was behind all this effort. And we're still getting more information, but we've released some records today, and I'll let Senator Johnson take over from here, and then each one of you colleagues can join in when you want to, whatever you want to say.
First of all, I want to thank Senator Grassley. It is because of his relentless advocacy for whistleblowers that a lot of this information is surfacing right now. We wouldn't know about the list of 100 Republican entities that were targeted by Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation. I don't think we know about this as well. So we need whistleblowers. I think Dan Bongino and folks in the FBI, they don't know where all the records are hidden. They still don't. They're not necessarily getting 100% cooperation. But this is outrageous what has happened. I just want to give you a timeline of this. I think you've already got the FBI sheet that shows the number of members of Congress that were targeted. Representative Kelly, Senators Graham, Hagerty, Hawley, Sullivan, Tuberville, myself, Senator Lummis, and Blackburn. Now, this memo was dated September of 2023. To put it all into context, the Mar-a-Lago raid occurred in August of 2022. Jack Smith announced the indictments against President Trump in August of 2023. So this is almost 2 months later. They're casting this net, this fishing expedition against members of the Senate and the House. Again, I've been investigating this with Senator Grassley. This doesn't surprise me, but it should shock every American of what the Biden administration has done. And by the way, this is the first time I was targeted by the FBI. Under the Obama administration, the same thing happened to both Senator Grassley and I. As part of the Foreign Influence Task Force, we were giving a briefing to try and convince us that the Hunter Biden laptop was no big deal. Basically, trying to throw us off the track. So this is major corruption that's being revealed inside the Obama and Biden Department of Justice, the FBI. And I'll turn it over to, I guess, Senator Hagerty, who's one of the individuals. Again, none of us were subject to targets of this investigation. There's no predicate. There's no reason for this other than a fishing expedition, which, again, should outrage and shock every American. Senator Hagerty.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. And Chairman Grassley, thank you for your leadership in making this.
This is only the beginning of this one, folks. Operation Arctic Frost. Circumventing the approval process and seize senators' phone records. An outrageous violation of the separation of powers. Newly uncovered memo reveals Biden's DOJ secretly spied on 8 GOP senators. The Bureau tracking private phone data.
Deranged Jack Smith after bombshell memo exposes Biden FBI spying on GOP senators. An FBI document obtained by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley shows that the FBI under Joe Biden spied on 8 Republican senators as part of its Arctic Frost investigation.
Ingram Engel, more with Ron Johnson.
Our phone record. So 8 U.S. senators, 1 congressman, all Republicans. What do we not know about Arctic frost that you hope to still discover?
Well, first of all, as it relates to the seizing of our phone records, who knew about it? Who approved it? Normally there'd be a very rigorous approval process going pretty high up in the chain, but they circumvented that by saying, well, these aren't subjects of our investigation, they're not targets. So they circumvented that. So this is an outrageous violation of the separation of powers. We need to know who knew what and when they knew it.
Well, there was one agent that gets named in a lot of these documents who was involved. Is like one person.
Timmy Tuberville. Yeah, he was the agent in charge that basically thought of this investigation, then approved it, totally violating FBI procedures in terms of how you establish an investigation and get it approved up the chain. He did it himself. So he's one of the bad actors. But, Laura, there are plenty of people still in the Jack Smith prosecution team. They're still burrowed into the FBI. This only came to light because the agent who seized the records, who got them, basically used this to recertify in this cast team. I mean, basically, it's a brag sheet. This was an accomplishment to recertify to be able to do the exact same thing again. So, happenstance, we had a whistleblower. By the way, we need more whistleblowers.
Oh, you bet.
We need more whistleblowers. That's how we found out about the associations that were targeted, including Senator Schmitt's Association of Attorneys General targeted by this FBI. So, again, this is out of control. The Biden administration, the Obama administration have weaponized government 10 times what Democrats are falsely accusing the Trump administration of doing.
So
Wow. Total projection at the moment. Here's Senator Hawley.
Out because whistleblowers.
Senator, how did we even find out about this?
Well, I think we found out because whistleblowers came forward, Jesse, with this information, which the Biden FBI tried to bury. I mean, let's be clear about this. It wasn't like they said, oh, listen, we want to tell you something really bad that we did. No, they lied about it. They tried to hide it. And then, as it turns out, they got wiretaps essentially on 8 Republican senators. This is after they targeted 92 conservative organizations, including Charlie Kirk's TPUSA, just because they were conservatives, all the while they were raiding Mar-a-Lago and persecuting Donald Trump, trying to keep him off the ballot. Jesse, they turned entire agencies of the U.S. government into their political tools, the Bidens did. They need to pay a price for that.
So what did they get from your phone? What were they able to get?
They were able to get the lists of incoming calls, outgoing calls, my location, when the calls were received, the duration of the calls, as well as metadata associated with the phone. And Jesse, that's just what we know about for sure. The truth is, we don't know the extent of their information gathering. We don't know what they did with it. We really don't know why they wanted it, other than, as you said, it was a dragnet. They were trying to destroy the entire Republican Party, beginning, of course, with Donald Trump, who was their number one target, and sweeping up anybody associated with them and anybody who was standing up against Joe Biden. Because remember, Jesse, this didn't happen until 2023. That's when Jack Smith and his goons went on this witch hunt. 2023. This was all about politics.
Yeah. So what are we going to do about this?
Well, what needs to happen is we need a special prosecutor who's going to go at this hard. I mean, we need to get all of the corruption uncovered. What we have here is rot that goes all through the FBI, that goes all through the DOJ. As Kash said a second ago in the clip you played, they've had decades to assemble this deep state. We need to disassemble it. We need somebody who is going after every person who was involved in this, who's going to expose it. We need hearings in public, put these people under oath, start with Jack Smith. Let's hear from Merrick Garland. Let's hear from Christopher Wray. And anybody who broke the law needs to be prosecuted.
Completely.
Let's go. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, Arctic frost is not just another scandal. It's proof the surveillance state turned inward on itself. 8 Republican senators had their private phone records seized while the FBI buried the evidence in unreadable files. This is Watergate with algorithms. Chuck Grassley exposed it. Ron Johnson called it constitutional violation. Kash Patel revealed the cover-up mechanics. Think about it. The same apparatus that fabricated the Russia hoax was simultaneously spying on the legislative branch. No warrants discussed, no oversight mentioned, just raw surveillance of elected officials who dared question the narrative. I mean, it's unconstitutional abuse of power. I mean, where are the 5 a.m. raids for this? The calls for accountability aren't coming from conspiracy theorists. They're coming from United States senators who found that they were the targets. So here's the question. Should every FBI official involved in Arctic frost face criminal prosecution? Yes or no? Sound off below. And visit our merch shop because real patriots demand transparency. You'll find it linked in the description.